Morning, guys. Welcome back. Today we start to talk about SDG14, uh, plastic waste. So before we get into this, I just want you to think about how much plastic do you do you use. For example, when you go shopping, you receive a plastic bag, shopping bag or something to put in your vegetables or groceries or other things. And so maybe think about on a weekly basis, how many times in a week do you do this thing? Go shopping, buy something, receive a plastic bag or something. Okay, and then how many times do you buy a drink, for example, even water, mineral water or juice or something, which is using a plastic bottle. So when you look at this thing seriously, then you will notice that in a week, one person, for example, must be using at least three, four, five bottles of plastic and also maybe 2 to 3 bags of plastic when you go shopping. So this is the situation in regards to the use of plastic in our daily lives. So this is something that we must remember because this is a very dangerous overuse or over reliance on plastic. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So, uh, so count the number of things that you see which contain plastic. So there is probably a lot of those things. Plastic has become such an important part of our daily life. We just take it for granted, and it's hard to imagine life or our life without it. Uh, so why it has become so popular or common is because plastic is light. It's not heavy at all. It almost has no weight. Look at the plastic water bottle or something, or plastic bag is even maybe just 1 or 2 grams. It is durable. Durable. It lasts a long time, and it is water resistant. By water resistant, I think it means that it is not corroded, it is not destroyed by, or it doesn't melt by water. So it is water resistant. Moreover, it is cheap and very easy to produce. Cheap. It does not cost so much money. And that's why maybe everywhere you see that the use of plastic has exploded. Before, I think 30, 40 years ago, we used to have paper bags. But that again is another problem because paper also depletes our forests because you need to cut down trees to make paper. So, but at least paper is more. It does not have a. It does not generate, let's say, carbon dioxide like the plastic generates if it is burned. So the other thing is that it is, and because it is easy to produce and cheap, that is why it has the use of plastic has exploded. Now, even though it seems like plastic is a miracle material, it cannot be easily disposed of. Uh, you cannot dispose it of. You cannot get rid of it easily. There is a cost involved. It can take 1,000 years for a piece of plastic to decompose. 1,000 years. And burning plastic produces harmful gases. So, and if you burn plastic, then it produces harmful gases which are dangerous to your body and to your health, and uh, uh, it contributes to climate change. Now, plastic waste has had a major impact on ecosystems, especially the ocean. It is estimated that at least 8 million tons of plastic trash is dumped into the ocean every year. Now, shockingly, it is predicted that by 2050 there will be as much plastic as there are fish in the ocean. So, some of this plastic ends up being eaten by the fish or by other marine life. In recent years, many dead whales or turtles and other animals, marine animals, have been found with their stomachs full of plastic. Plastic may also harm animals by getting tangled around them or blocking their breathing. It makes breathing very difficult if it is stuck around their mouth. You know. We have also seen plastic being very harmful to cows in India because they are trying to get their food from this garbage space. And if there is a plastic there, plastic bags which have been thrown away by people with some food inside, for example, then the cow wants to take the food out, but it can't. It doesn't know how to take the food out of the plastic bag. So it just takes ingests the whole thing inside her body, inside her stomach. And so this results in the cows choking to death. They choke. They cannot breathe anymore. So please remember this thing. Never throw plastic or food in a plastic bag outside because some animal is going to eat that and will choke to death. Now, the dangers caused by plastic waste go beyond what we can easily see. Microplastics are pieces of plastic that are smaller than 5 millimeters. They originate from larger pieces of plastic that have broken down over time. These tiny pieces of plastic are not only consumed by sea animals and other animals such as birds, but also by humans. According to the WWF, which is the World Wildlife Fund, the average person eats 5 grams of microplastics, or the equivalent of one credit card every week. Now, it is still not clear what effect this has on our bodies, but it is thought to increase the risk of diseases such as cancer. So, plastic and cancer, we can easily imagine that these are related. Now, slowly, countries around the world are starting to realize how urgent, how important this problem is. In the early 2000s, some developing countries, such as Bangladesh and Rwanda, were the first to create laws banning some single-use plastics. Now, many countries, including Japan, have since followed suit. Even so, Japan still produces about 9 million tons, roughly the weight of 60,000 jumbo jets, 9 million tons of plastic trash annually, and burns about 70% of it. So much of the remaining trash is shipped to China and other countries. However, as these countries begin to restrict plastic imports, Japan is running out of options as to what to do with its plastic waste. So it will have to come up with some solution very quickly by the time these other countries where it ships its plastic, they put a complete ban on the import of such plastic from Japan. Now, most plastic waste comes from single-use plastic. So, single-use is like these water bottles, PET bottles we call them, or the shopping bags or bags that we get when we buy vegetables or something. And now, one thing again we should remember is that Japan has the second worst plastic packaging waste per capita in the world. Second worst, you know. So what that means is that Japan is, in terms of its plastic use, by giving out plastic, bags and things to their customers. Japan is the second largest consumer of plastic in that sense. Luckily, this is one problem where we as individuals can make a big difference. But as individuals, as consumers or users, we can make a big difference here in tackling this problem. We can just use reusable bottles and bags, and by avoiding single-use plastics, we can help solve the problem. So don't use single-use plastic bottles. Don't use single-use plastic bags for shopping. Use cloth-made bags which you can use repeatedly over time, again and again, rather than use one single-use plastic bag, and then throw it away. So this is one clear area where we can make a difference by changing our habits. Perhaps more importantly, we should speak out against wasteful plastic use to encourage companies and local governments to lower their dependency on single-use plastic. So we should try to convince the local governments to make laws which would discourage the use of single-use plastics, and to come up with alternative things for material, for example, for people to use when they go shopping or when they have to bring something back home. There should be some alternative things or bags that do not use plastic. Together we can create an environment in which animals and people can safely eat and drink without the risk of consuming life-threatening plastic. So if we work together with our local governments, with our private sector companies, then we can create an environment. We can create a safe environment in which animals don't have to die, marine life doesn't have to die, and also people can safely eat and drink without risk of consuming life-threatening plastic bags or something. Okay, so this is our lesson for today. I hope you liked it, and please read some additional material which you can find on the YouTube channel. Okay, so thank you, and I will see you again in a couple of days. Bye-bye.